Today we're tackling one of the most polarizing cases in recent memory, the Karen Reed murder trial. In January 22, Boston PD officer John O'Keefe was found dead in a snowbank outside a fellow police officer's home in Canton, Massachusetts. His girlfriend, Karen Reed, was accused of running him down with her SUV and leaving him to die in a blizzard. Was it murder or was Karen Reed framed?
If ever your life could be a true crime podcast episode, then this podcast is for you. We're about to embark on a roller coaster of emotions, insights, survival, and stories about escape. So buckle up and let the journey begin.
All right, so we're excited because Cara Beth is here.
Yay!
Season 2 of the Escape Pod.
Season 2 of the Escape Pod.
I'm stoked. I'm going to tell you, we just had a crack-up fest before we started recording.
Yeah.
And that's pretty typical when you get the two of us together. So we're hoping that laughter translates out to you.
Yes.
So what are you escaping today?
The heat.
The heat?
And it's hot in here.
It is
Or maybe
warm
it's
in here,
just
which
me,
is
but
weird.
It's
no,
warm
it is
in here.
warm
Usually
in here.
it's pretty cool in here, but the heat. Unless I'm next to a large body of water, the 100 and some odd degrees or even in the upper 90s just isn't my jam. It's not my jam.
Well, I tell you what, I'm loving this heat. I just got back from Miami. So it was this hot and
Humid.
this humid, right? Anyway, so thanks for hosting this with me.
Yeah,
I'm really
I'm excited.
And you know nothing about this story because I asked you about it off the air.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're covering the Karen Reed murder trial. Chad was the one who put this on my radar. I don't watch the news. I don't have time to fill my head full of all that stuff. And he was obsessed with it. So every time I talk to him, have you looked at it yet? Have you checked into it yet? You got to do it. You got to cover it. You got to cover it. I'm like, fine. And so I want to get a shout out to Ansley upstairs. She helped with doing some of the research for this, saved me some time, and I learned a lot through that. So
Good.
it was good.
Good.
So
Way to go, Ansley.
you ready to dive in?
I'm ready to dive in.
Okay, and feel free, jump in. It's a wild ride.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to ask questions probably.
I hope you do. I really hope you do. Okay. Get my storytelling voice on. On January 29th,
have to start over.
2022, a nor'easter blanketed Canton, Massachusetts in snow. John O'Keefe was a 16-year veteran of the Boston Police Department. He'd been out drinking with his girlfriend, Karen Reed. She was an equity analyst and an adjunct professor at Bentley University. And then there was this big group of friends with them.
Okay.
So after night at the local bars, Karen dropped John off at 34 Fairview Road, which was the home of fellow officer Brian Albert for an after party thing.
Okay.
Reed then leaves that house after John didn't come back out. She's waiting, is this the right place? Should we be here? Were we actually invited? Kind of a thing. And he didn't come back out. So she bailed. She was pissed,
She's
later.
Rude.
And so she went home to his house and she never heard from John again. And the next morning, she and a couple friends are what's up? They're trying to, get a hold of him. They go out to look for him and they find him outside in the snow at the same house. Karen performs CPR to no avail. He is dead. So she's arrested for manslaughter and the fight for her life and for answers in her boyfriend's death begins.
Crazy.
Okay, so that's the setup.
Hmm.
All right. Now, according to the prosecution, you're going to hear a lot about this. They claim that Karen had backed her SUV into John after he'd gotten out of the car, just leaving him to die out in the blizzard. Evidence, I'll let you decide if you think it's evidence by the end of this, includes alleged pieces of her SUV's taillight found at the scene and a single strand of John's hair on her bumper.
Huh.
In a blizzard.
Was it John's hair or was it deer? Well,
They said it was John's hair,
crazy.
but I mean in a blizzard.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah. Already it's just really one little hair just held on to the bumper. It's a real blizzard. It just seems so
I don't know. I've seen some flies
unlikely.
hang on to my windshield in some of those. Maybe
That's true, but they have those little sticky sucker things.
True.
Have you seen their legs up close? I mean, okay. So court documents also reveal a strained relationship between Karen and John. And so with Reed, Karen allegedly leaving voicemails at 1 a.m. calling him a loser and saying she hated him.
Oh.
So they ratchet on that a lot. And then the defense claims Karen's being set up. that John was killed inside the Albert home at 34 Fairview Road, possibly by law enforcement colleagues, and dragged outside. And then they decided to frame Karen because she wasn't there. They point to discrepancies in witness statements, missing surveillance footage, and alleged ties between the Albert family and the investigators of this crime, which I will get. I'm just giving you like a brief overview.
I'm wondering if John was kind of a turd. No, he was a nice guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah.
So, like, okay, keep going.
Yeah. The defense also argued that John's injuries, including scratches on his arm, which I will get to in a moment, this is the email I sent you, suggests something maybe other than a vehicle strike. And maybe it was a dog attack or defensive wounds from an assault or something. So a theory bolstered by the state medical examiner's recent findings, they found no evidence of a motor vehicle strike. All right, so that's the quick 30,000-foot look at this. Okay, that's like pretty much a nutshell version of what's going on and what those big arguments were.
There's a lot of missing pieces there.
A lot of missing pieces, so of course we can't leave it there. So again, this case had Chad like biting his nails. I mean, he's bringing it up in discussions all the time. Like, here's what's happening. Here's what's going on now. I mean, he was just captivated.
And this was before, like, so do we know the truth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no. We know what the jury decided.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And a lot of cases are like that where it's who can convince the jury of their side of the argument. And it's really interesting. We've covered a lot like that before where it's like, okay, but was it so? Was it true? So it's
Buckle up.
Buckle up. Anyway, but I can understand the fascination now that I've dug into it. So there ended up being 2 trials. First one was declared a mistrial, and then the one where she was either convicted or exonerated. So let's start, though, by giving the context of John and Karen's relationship and that history. Okay. And believe me, your idea of what's happening is going to flip like crazy in this.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Another roller coaster ride?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like those. All right, so Karen and John initially met in 2004. They dated after college, but they had careers to pursue and life to do, and so they decided to go their separate ways. So fast forward to 2020, 16 years later, during the pandemic, John reaches out to Karen over Facebook. His sister and brother-in-law had tragically passed away. Like, his sister died in 2013 from cancer, and her husband just a few months later in 2014 of a heart attack. And so John gained custody of their 2 children in 2014. So now he's a dad.
Yeah.
And, an uncle dad, and this is all new to him.
My goodness, those poor children.
I know.
Right?
It was terrible. And now they've lost him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
It's terrible. But this, like, kind of endeared him to Karen. She thought it was really noble and honorable that he was stepping up to do this. And she, it kind of worked for her. So they rekindled their relationship. And they'd been dating for around 2 years when the incident I described a little bit ago occurred. Okay. So the first trial, the evidence presented was exhaustive. Over 2 months in their relationship, more than 600 pieces of evidence and 70 witnesses were presented for this case.
Wow.
The prosecution leaned on forensic evidence like these taillight fragments and digital data from John's phone, which stopped moving at 12:32 a.m., and it showed a steadily dropping battery temperature, suggesting that he was out all night.
Okay.
So that's really interesting evidence, right? Keep that in mind.
Okay.
And a key witness by the name of Jennifer McCabe, and I'll talk more about her later, testified that she had searched. So I think it's how long to die in cold, but she misspelled how, so it looks like H-O-S, hose. Hose long to die in cold, after O'Keefe's body was found.
Okay.
Not before.
Right. So she was just curious she was kind of almost doing her own research then?
Yeah, that's what she claims.
Yeah.
But the defense says it was before he was found.
This is why I'm very careful. I have a lot of thoughts at like 3, 4 a.m. where I'm like, do ducks have ears? And I start Googling, you know what I mean? But then there's certain things where I'm like, I'll be curious about that because maybe I saw something or heard something like a scary story or whatever, and I'll start Googling it. And I'm like, I'm not giving that to Google because I don't want this to I get scared that I don't, either 2 things. I don't want to get served a bunch of like weird stuff, right? Or have it like come back.
we
and
should
be
get, like,
ooh,
a
FBI is all
burner
this lady's
phone.
crazy.
Let's get a burner phone and just see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, we can start with Do Ducks Have
How
Ears?
how do you get a burner phone?
You just get it, yeah.
You just go get like one of the
Totally new,
walkie-talkie
fresh
phones
yeah.
from like Walmart
Yeah.
with the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we can do some
That'd
experiments.
be kind of fun.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Blah, 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 blah. Some of the evidence presented in the first trial included a lot of text messages, and we're going to deep dive into that, and voicemails between Karen and John that did not really paint Karen in the greatest light. She was definitely an unsympathetic character to many, many people, but others rallied for her, others rallied against her, and so this is a really divisive case. Okay, so on the night of January 29th, 2022, this is the night he passed away. Shortly after midnight, Karen, John, and a bunch of friends go to a bar, have a good time. They're drinking, they're having fun. Karen then drives John to Albert's house, Brian Albert's house for this after party. Okay. She didn't know these people really well. So she stays in the car. She waits for John to kind of go in and assess if they'd really been invited, or was that just some like random drunk invite, like, hey, come on over. It's not my house, but whatever, which I've had happen before. So she just didn't want to overstep, right? So she didn't want to impose, and especially since there was also a birthday party for Brian Albert's son going on at the house at that time. So she was just being careful. So she waits, she waits, and she waits, finally throws in the towel and goes home thinking that he ditched her. So 1 a.m. that morning.
Did she try and text him in that time frame?
Here she goes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she gets home to his house, mind you. She left him some pretty angry voicemails. You're an effing loser. F yourself. John, I effing hate you.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not asking questions. We're just jumping to, you ditched me, you motherfucker, and I'm really pissed off about it. 4 to 5 a.m., she's freaking out because she hadn't heard from him, and she thinks maybe he's hooked up with somebody else. So she had his niece call Jennifer McCabe, and Jennifer is Brian Albert's sister. So this gets real. There's a lot of family going on. And so this is at 4:23 in the morning, asking if he was there because he hadn't come home and he was not answering his cell phone. And so getting no answers as to John's whereabouts and knowing these kids that he's raising needed him, she calls another woman whose husband was also a friend of John's. And then she and Jennifer McCabe and this third woman go to search for John. Prosecutors maintain that she allegedly said things like, what if he's dead? What if a plow hit him? I don't remember anything from last night. We drank so much. I don't remember anything. Kind of like as if she's planting some
seeds. Yeah.
Yeah. Seeds of like, when we find the inevitable,
right,
I'm already innocent. Like, 'cause I just don't remember. Okay. So a lot of people think that.
But was she driving?
Yep.
Okay.
She sure was. So allegedly during the search, Karen mentioned she had a crack in her taillight and wondered if she could have hit John. But the prosecution later said no tail pieces were found in the driveway where his body was found.
Yeah, that doesn't add up.
The defense, however, says that her vehicle struck Brian Albert's SUV, which is what broke the taillight. And I'm not sure which is actually true. So I went to go search for video. Is there any video evidence that shows this? The only thing I can see is there's this Ring camera footage at 11:30 when someone comes to pick up, like a daughter was visiting John's house for one of the kids he's raising.
Okay.
So they come to pick up their daughter from John's house. And then the next footage is at 5:07 when Karen is leaving John's house, presumably to look for him. So she clearly came home at some point, but the Ring camera didn't pick it up. But the video shows that the same taillight in question may have hit his car in the driveway as she was leaving at 5:07.
She doesn't remember.
You know, have you ever just tapped a car and it kind of rocks a little bit? That's kind of what it looks like. It's still blizzard. It's dark. You know, it's winter. It's awful. And the prosecution said the video footage was deleted by Karen because it was unfavorable to her, but she wanted to prove that her taillight was intact. So that part doesn't make sense to me. She's like,
well, and could they prove it was deleted?
No.
Okay.
Nope. She also says that at 12:41, she left a voicemail to John as she pulls into his garage. And you can hear in this voicemail, you can hear the proximity alert for the car. You can hear the door ding, you know, for the ding, ding. Yeah, all the stuff. And you can hear her walking through his house. but the video is missing of her actually pulling into the garage. That's the only thing that's missing. But you could see her leave again.
Yeah.
So,
well, our house camera doesn't always go off.
It's weird.
And then sometimes it goes off too much.
Stupid
right?
things.
Like I'm like, there's nothing there.
Like when those mourning doves sit on my deck,
Yeah.
and it's like, hi, we're on TV. I know.
We're in love.
Go away. So the question is, who had a greater incentive to delete the video if it was even deleted? Mm-hmm. Right? So approximately 6 a.m. is when they find John outside again, Brian Albert's house. They call 911. She's freaking out. She's inconsolable when she's on the call with dispatch. She's trying to save John, and they claim she repeatedly said, I hit him. I hit him. Oh. But it also could be, I hit him? I hit him? Yeah. You know? Yeah. So this was later argued to be false. Now, here's where things get conspiratorial, because there's always got to be some of that. At some point that morning, one of the people associated with the case, this was Jennifer, Googled hose long to die in the cold. And prosecutors claim that search on Jen McCabe's cell phone happened at 6:24 after John's body was found, but the defense, and they all have their experts, right?
Right.
Looking at the cell phone data. The defense says the search was conducted at 2:27 a.m. That's a huge discrepancy.
That is a huge discrepancy. 4
hours before John's body was found, and both sides are claiming they have forensic experts to back it up. I don't know what's true. I really don't. This is what the jury's hearing, right? I have no idea how there can even be that large of a discrepancy. Or I wonder if, because some of it had been deleted and recovered, is there something in there that would explain that discrepancy? You know, because I will get to these messages being deleted too, which is awfully strange, and search histories being deleted and weird things happening. So anyway, let's go back to John. As police investigate the scene, they say they found broken glass appearing to be from like a cocktail glass from a bar. And I guess he took one from the bar with him when he left. Like, I've never done that. But like a restaurant, you're just like, oh, no, I'm not done with this. Like, I've got bail. Take it with him. Take this one on the road.
I'm like, hey, I like these salt and pepper shakers. Put them in my purse. Just kidding. I don't steal salt and pepper shakers.
For the record.
For the record.
Yeah, okay.
But I have stolen glasses.
Have you?
Yeah, like I even have, like, just for like cool memory's sake. Like when I came back here, when I lived in Colorado, and I came back here to visit, and the boot was still.
Boot Hill.
Yeah,
Oh,
I ended up getting, I was like, I got to take one of these. It was just a regular beer glass. Sorry.
They went out of business.
I know. Sorry. That's probably why.
Yeah.
They were like, gosh, that one glass just pushed us over the edge.
We couldn't anymore. Okay, so there's pieces of this cocktail glass near him, as well as pieces of taillight at the scene. Now, you just have to think about that for a minute. They're in a blizzard. Mm-hmm. He's been out there for 4 hours. Really?
Yeah, it just doesn't. Well, and I just feel like,
I mean, are they like you know, the archaeology brushes?
Yeah.
Brushing snow away to try to see what's under the. I mean, it just seems weird. They said they also found drops of blood, like frozen blood, in the snow, and they collected it in Solo cups.
Oh.
Because the blizzard was going on, and they were afraid that the people with the proper equipment wouldn't arrive in time to collect it. But again, if this is 4 hours later, how did they even see it?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I have so many questions.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You look like you have a question too.
No, I just didn't. My brain's just kind of spinning out because it does not make sense.
Yeah.
At all. I even go back to, I feel like if you hit someone with your vehicle enough to actually take them out,
that
like
hard.
Somebody you would, first of all, you would know, and there would be more evidence than just a little broken taillight and some hair.
And the one hair. Well, listen.
Oh, so it's one hair?
It was one strand of hair.
Yeah, how does that? No.
In a blizzard. And also, I'm sorry, but his head of hair isn't on his knees or his thigh or wherever the bumper of that SUV would have hit.
No, even if he was like bending over because he's like, oh, I spilled my drink.
And he's bundled up
Yeah.
because there's a blizzard.
Yeah, no.
Like, I don't get it. Okay. They also determined that Karen would have had to be pretty drunk at the time of his death. Autopsy determined that his death was caused by blunt impact injuries to the head. Not a bumper of an SUV, and hypothermia. And the ME also says that there were not any obvious signs of an altercation or a fight. Also up for debate. So with all of that, little drops of blood in solo cups, the one hair on the bumper, all the stuff. She was arrested for manslaughter, motor vehicle homicide, and leaving the scene of an accident causing death. February of 22, she pleads not guilty. June of 22, she's indicted by a grand jury on these charges, and she was released on bond until the trial, and the first trial starts in May of 2023.
Okay.
Okay. So here we come. The defense come out of the gate strong. They claim that John was involved in a fight inside Brian Albert's house and that he was beaten and his body was dumped outside. And they show some interesting wounds on his arms. So I'm going to have you pull that email up that I sent you earlier.
Okie dokie.
See what you think.
Here's my first thought is, I mean, they're scratches. They look fairly deep, but they're like not consistent. Right? Like
It's wild.
Yeah, it's weird. And it definitely doesn't look like something that would come from a vehicle.
No.
Or even really, like if someone was in a fight, like this many scratches. Is it just the one arm?
Just the one arm.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, those are strange. That doesn't make any sense.
So the defense is saying these are some type of defensive wounds. And they theorize it could have been caused by a German Shepherd that lived at the Albert house.
Even then, that doesn't look like German
But don't
Shepherd.
they look healed?
Yeah, it looks like he honestly like fell into like
I feel like he
bush that had like a bunch of thorns or
bush
something.
or something.
Yeah.
But of course nothing's around because it's winter. He's not gardening.
Yeah.
So that's strange too. And then also, if this was outside, as the prosecution claims, he's bundled up. He's not wearing a freaking
Tank top
and
weed whacking. Yeah.
So if that was fresh,
and that's what they're claiming,
where would it have happened? But to me, it doesn't look fresh. And then he died. Like, they're not going to scab up after you die. That's not how scabs work.
No.
It's not how coagulation
No, they don't.
works. So
I wish I could.
again, I'm not an expert. I'm just pretending to be one. But it just seems odd.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't look like German Shepherd scratches or bites or anything like that.
Even animal scratches. I've had plenty of those, and that's not what they look like.
No.
It's not.
It looks
marks,
like he
it's not
fell into
claw marks.
something that was, I don't know, sharp,
Yeah.
like a bush. You know what I mean? That had like a ton of thorns or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Because they're all over.
So now they're saying, well, then all the people in this house at this party are involved in a cover-up. So this is where this conspiratory talk comes in. And prosecution is like, yeah, there's no evidence John had been beaten. These are just theories, blah, 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 blah. So
no other portion of his body had like any indication.
there's the blunt force trauma to his head,
That's it.
which again isn't going to happen if you're standing up.
Right.
So did he fall down in the snow and never make it into the house?
Yeah.
And also in a blizzard, why are you backing into a driveway?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I just have so many questions. So cell communication was also a huge piece of evidence presented in this case. And let me give you just a taste of what the jury sat through on this, because it would take hours and hours to go through all of it. So the day before and leading up to the discovery of John's body, so this would be Friday the 28th, 46-year-old John's last day alive. That morning, he and girlfriend Karen, who was then 42 years old, they had a heated argument about him being upset that Karen had bought his niece and nephew donuts for breakfast.
Why would there be a heated argument about that?
Because he did not want, he's struggling to raise these kids. He didn't plan to have children.
Right.
He's not prepared to do it. He's doing it anyway. But Karen gets to always be the fun person, the fun parent.
Okay.
And he's trying to make sure they're not spoiled. Like, she'd buy him expensive things and take them to expensive places and spoil them.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want them to be spoiled brats,
He wants
Yeah.
like this structure and whatnot.
So
and
he was
he's
always
the party pooper.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so that was that point of contention. Hey, I'm the one who has custody of these kids. I'm raising these kids. Stop pissing on my plans here, lady. Like, just stop. And so he didn't appreciate it. And needless to say, it was causing tension in their relationship. So 9:49 a.m. that morning, the 28th, these text messages begin between these two. This is so fun. So they were discussing the argument about the donuts. And she said she was hurt by him being angry. He apologizes and explains, like, I'm just frustrated. This parenting thing is really tough.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for it. She goes on to try to build him up by pointing out the positives of everything he was doing for the kids. And he seemed a little dismissive of it, replying only with emojis. Then they discuss a few things unrelated to the previous night. But before the conversation ended, John asked her when she's coming over to his house, and she replied she's not sure. She's still trying to clear her head from their previous fight.
Donut hole argument?
The donut hole. Yeah, this was a serious one. So a few minutes later, she tells John that even though he apologized, she's still feeling very hurt. She doesn't want to look like a fool for coming back to him after he'd been treating her so badly or spoken to her so poorly in her assessment. He apologizes again, said, hey, I was out of line, let her know that he understood if she just wanted to stay home for the evening. So that was again at 9:49 a.m.
Okay.
Fast forward to 2:17 p.m. She clearly wants to engage now. So she calls him. He answers. They talk for about 2.5 minutes. 2:23, she calls him again. He answers. They talk for a minute. 2:24.
That's weird.
She calls him again. He declines the call.
Oh.
2:25. Now the text messages launch. She's asked him to tell her if he was interested in someone else because she couldn't think of any other reason for him to have been treating her so poorly. He responds right away saying no, and then asks her to consider that things haven't been great between them for a while. He then tells her that the kids weren't there and he wasn't in the mood to have this conversation, but she keeps texting him, just nailing him, saying it's fine if you're no longer into our relationship, but she didn't want to keep trying if she was going to be treated like that. So she just kept on and kept on. She was hurt. He turned down her affections that morning, blah, 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 blah. John told her that's not how he remembered it happening, and he was sick of this constant arguing and fighting. So this is kind of like, so 2:32 p.m.
Well, and that's even what I was thinking. I'm like, if they're getting into an argument, a heated argument over donuts, there's more.
Oh,
there's more there because it's like, who gives a rip?
Yeah.
Even she's like, they were day-old donuts.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. So 2:32, she calls him again. He declines. 2:32, more text messages come. He finally sends her a text, OMG, stop calling. She accused him of setting her up to fail because he was the one who started this fight and had started several fights in recent days. He said he'd explained himself already, was not going to do it again. Typical, cop, I'm just not. She asked again if tell me if you're not into this anymore. He replied, I'm not into fighting all of the time, correct?
Right. Yeah.
And Karen then goes back to him being interested in someone else. Just tell me if you're interested. You'll never hear from me again, whatever. And he just replies with an eye roll emoji, dealing with a petulant child, right? Which is super fun. 2:34, she calls him again. He declines the call and sends her a message instead. I am not answering. Stop calling.
I would turn my phone off, I think, at this point if I was him.
I should have said 2:34 and 29 seconds because then at 2:34 and 54 seconds,
she
calls him again. He declines the call and says, hey, my niece is here. She's just blaming him of trying to pick a fight with her and that she's going to go out and get a drink soon. 2:38, she calls him. He declines. 2:38 again, another message. Can you please answer? No, Karen. Not sure why you need to announce that you're grabbing a drink, but have fun. She messaged back.
2:38 in the afternoon.
Right. This was a serious fight, I'm telling you. She says, just seeing if you want to meet me later, can you please call me? He said he needed to take his kids to the doctor and that he had to take his nephew to practice. She ignored his reasoning and still kept trying to get him on the phone. And he's like, yeah, 5 minutes. So it was just constantly. 2:43, she calls, he doesn't answer. 2:43 and 45 seconds, she calls again. He declines the call and says a message.
I think I would have run her over.
If he had known. Karen says, okay, your dad's there or whatever, okay. And just call me for 2 minutes. He says he's still not in the mood to talk, not right now. And so this just kept going on. 2:45, happened again. And then it's just, it's like you're setting me up to fail. I'm dealing with my own personal things. I have zero control over whatever. Martyr.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, poor me. I'm the victim here. 2:50, she calls, he declines. 2:51, she calls, he declines. 2:52, she calls, he just doesn't answer. 2:53, same thing. One more message. You seriously cannot pick up the phone for 2 seconds. More calls and declines. It just keeps going on. So finally, this happens for several hours. At 7:37, I'll spare you all of the other stuff. John and his friend Michael Camerano arrive at C.F. McCarthy's. Karen and her arrives at the bar to meet John at 8:51. And so...
Come on, Karen.
I know. She's ready to make up, maybe.
She's determined.
They each have several drinks. 10:40, John and Karen are seen on CCTV leaving that bar together. They go to another bar, Waterfall Bar and Grill, just down the street from C.F. McCarthy's, and this is where they hook up with the big group of people. Mm-hmm. So Brian Higgins, Brian and Nicole Albert, Caitlin Albert, Tristan Morris, Jen and Matt McCabe, and Julie and Chris Albert. So let's do a quick sidebar about how all these people are connected.
Okay.
So Brian, we've talked about, this was his house, 34 Fairview. Former Boston police sergeant, detective. And he was with friends and family at the Waterfall. Nicole Albert is married to Brian.
Okay.
And she is the sister of Jennifer McCabe.
Okay.
That we've talked about. With
the one with the hose.
The hose long to die in the cold.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were all together. Caitlin Albert is Brian and Nicole's daughter. And Caitlin was among the group at the Waterfall who accompanied her parents back to the house where all this stuff happened. Her boyfriend had given her a ride home early on the 29th, and Tristan is her boyfriend. Okay. Jennifer McCabe, we've already talked about, Nicole's sister. She was there, and her husband, Matthew, was also at the bar. Matthew McCabe was also present during all of this. Chris Albert is the brother of Brian Albert and the father of Colin Albert. Chris Albert was a former neighbor of John O'Keefe's, and they were kind of drinking buddies. Julie Albert is Chris's wife. She testified she's close friends with former Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor's sister. So it's like now you start to see how
there's like a whole
this
web
group of people, and are tied into the prosecution. And this gets really interesting too. And then Brian Higgins is a federal ATF agent, and he was all there. He testified he and Reed swapped flirty texts and even shared a kiss in the weeks before O'Keefe died. Which again, when you have a woman that, or anybody in a couple that is like, you're seeing someone else, aren't you? You're
usually,
it's usually projection.
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is the fun setup for all of this. And then in part 2, we'll jump back into the timeline after they leave the safety of these public places for this house party, and that's where everything goes wrong. So
this is why you don't go to after parties.
Don't go to after.
You know what? And I look back at that in my 20s, like how many times we did go to different after parties. They were never great. And it was always one of those things where like
everybody's tired. It sounds like a good idea.
It always sounds like a good idea because you don't want it to stop. But it's after 2:00 in the morning.
It's lame.
And people start getting tired, or people start doing like crazy things that they shouldn't be doing because they're like out of their heads, right? Mm-hmm. Don't go to after parties.
No. Also a good lesson for the day.
Yeah.
Don't wear a bra. Don't go to after parties.
And definitely don't go to after party without your bra on. It's just asking for trouble.
Well,
I have no idea where
what's
this is going to go.
Okay.
I'm super curious.
Well, we will dig in, folks, in part 2. This was going to be a long one, so we didn't want to shove it all at you in one episode.
Yeah, we wanted to make you wait. You get to hang.
That's right.
Hang on the fence with me.
That's right.
Are you ready to re-enter the workforce or find a career that actually fits? Or maybe you're an employer tired of noisy platforms that miss the mark? Try Focus, a smarter hiring tool that helps you cut through the noise and focus on what matters. Visit focus.work today. That's FOQUS.WORK.
So what are you escaping to?
Oh, that's a great question. Probably just a quiet. This sounds super boring.
Don't be boring.
I'm going to be a little bit boring because I need boring. You know, it's been a couple of weeks. I think you can relate, and a lot of it's been good things ultimately. But we haven't been home as much as I'd like to, and we've been doing all kinds of fun things. But I kind of am just like I want to make dinner at home, so I'm gonna make some fresh pico, and we're just gonna just hang out at home, drink a beer, you know, whatever.
Nice.
But yeah, super boring. But I kind of need a little bit of boring in my life right now. Yeah.
I feel that. I think I'm just excited just about like new beginnings and like season 2 of the podcast and all these other fun initiatives we're working on. And it's a lot and it's stressful, but
it is.
It's still
They're
fun.
all good things.
Yeah.
Though. I'm excited to see where things go. I'm super excited. Like, I know we still have plenty of the year to finish, but I'm excited for 2026. I don't normally say that this early.
Really?
Yeah, but I am. I'm excited. I think 2026 is going to be a good year.
Okay.
I'm hoping we get to see some fruit, some fruit from all of our labor.
Body temperature just went up like 40 degrees because I'm working on budgets for next year, and it is
never fun.
And usually I don't mind it. It's like, but with all of these unknowns and all these people to take care of, it's just like, oh my God, I hate it. It's been a nightmare exercise.
Oh,
I got to do it.
I can.
No
imagine.
one else is going to do it.
That's why I'm glad you do it.
Are you looking for an early morning boost or that midday pick-me-up? Check out the Homebrew Coffee Shop, a coffee shop with a cause on the One Heart campus. At Homebrew, you'll find hope for a home in every cup. It's home to delicious coffee, sweet treats, breakfast, and lunch items. It's a great place to meet friends or host small group meetings. Homebrew is located at 201 Kansas City Street in Rapid City. Open Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll see you there.
All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We truly and sincerely appreciate every one of you. If you like what you heard, subscribe, download, follow. Please share. We also want to hear from you guys. Tell us. Tell us if you're liking it. Tell us if you have questions. Tell us if you've got stories that you want us to cover. We would love, love, love to hear from you. Subscribe, download, all that jazz.
Yeah, if you guys liked KB's sense of humor, please let me know that too.
Yeah, if you think I'm a stinker, let us know that too.
You can send us any kind of feedback to justbecause@escapepod.live. And just know, like, the work we're doing every day, we do want to have giggles along the way, but like we're doing this to actually make a difference in people's lives. And you can help us with that. So if our podcast has inspired you or moved you or entertained you, it would mean a lot to us if you would just take a moment, leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen. Broadening our reach means more ad revenue, which means helping more people escape the unthinkable. You can also support the show by becoming a patron at escapepod.live. You can connect with us on our socials through there or send your thoughts and personal stories to justbecause@escapepod.live or your true escape stories to escapeartist@escapepod.live, and maybe we'll read it on a future episode.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of the Escape Pod. Remember, trauma may be inevitable, but your grapple with it is optional. So stay resilient.
And what were we going to? Don't wear a bra and don't go to after parties.
That's
Keep laughing, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.